Hey there, pal. Welcome to the home for anime on the Falling Starcatcher YouTube channel. My name's Cameron. I'm the founder and host, and it's good to see you. Hope you're doing well. So, I had I was gonna say pleasure, I was gonna say delight. I had the, I had the honor, I had the honor of being sent an advanced screener and getting to watch Ryuya Suzuki's directorial debut, Jinsei, which he wrote, directed, made the score for, animated, and edited all by himself. So this is a one person lift that is about an hour and a half, maybe a little bit longer. And it, to me, was a very fascinating feature. Jinsei follows a protagonist who goes by many names over the course of 100 years, and we follow him, well, starting from before he was born, really, all the way up until around that 100th year. And as we go through these different facets of his life, whether he's five or if he's a teenager or if he's in his 20s, 30s, 40s, 60s, all the way up until he's an old man, he's given different names. I honestly don't know if Jinsei was his real name, but he's given names like Seichan, the Grim Reaper, God, and Love, among others. Those are just the four that stuck out to me. And for the sake of this review, we will call him Seichan. We're watching Seichan's life go past him. And to me, the biggest thing that I like about this film, or biggest, aside from Suzuki's doing literally everything by himself, is that there are two concepts that are working in tandem with one another. There is nihilism. Seichan does not really care about anything. He doesn't even seem to care about his own life. The only time that he gets excited is when he sees a videotape of his father, who is an idol, and he says, "That's cool." And then he wants to be an idol. He says very few words throughout his entire life, but he does not really see the point in anything, yet he keeps existing. But then there are the people around Seichan throughout these different periods of his life who revolve around him, who have either idealized versions of who he is, i.e., naming him God, or finding him to be influential, being worth following, being someone worth loving and being around. And in this meaningless life, he is the reason, which, of course, if the movie is about him, he would be the reason. But all of these people find him to be the reason. So in this meaningless life, he, in some way, is a purpose. So we see nihilism be working in tandem with absurdism, which I think that it's really incredible that Suzuki is able to put those two things together and do it in a film that is, when I say difficult to watch, I don't mean that it's frustrating, well, except for maybe the last 20 minutes, but it's hard to watch because we see Seichan go through some really hard and admittedly disgusting things. Things that make it hard to say, "Oh yeah, you should watch this," because this film is not a spectacle. It's not necessarily pretty. Honestly, there are people who might find it to be quite ugly. They may not enjoy the animation, but what happens with this is and this might sound strange, but this isn't even necessarily a meditative film, but Jinsei is something that if you if you spend time with it, it forces you to sit with it, to be with it. Whether or not you start questioning your own mortality or not and what your life is about and for, well, that's an entirely other discussion, but it grabs you and it does not let go, but it's not forceful. And to me, that is the making of a very powerful narrative. It's almost like Seichan is passively looking through his entire life, and we are observing that. So it's like 2 degrees removed, but it's just done so well that I could not stop watching. And really, it's tight, it's compact. These different stages of life all really make sense, and they're all really interesting to watch for different reasons as we are seeing this one person experience these different things. Which leads me to the only problem that I have with Jinsei, and that's the last 15 or 20 minutes. Because we have these clear cut life things, and I'm trying so hard to be vague, that happen to and around Seichan. But then we have this last 15 to 20 minutes, and for some reason, it just gets very abstract. And when you're following such a structured narrative for so long, and then you just have this visual overload where the visuals are telling the story above all else. There are no words anymore. No one's talking. You are just observing time move quicker than we had before because we were spending a lot of time in these different periods. But at the end, it's just whoosh. Several years pass in a weird, rapidly paced montage. And it gets to be very. It goes from realistic to unrealistic. There's these themes of, obviously, the theme of self, but also it has this weird war thing that it does, or I guess where Japan is going to be in the coming years, which I guess if that's what you want to explore, cool. It just didn't really fit here. So it kind of went off of the rails from what it was that I was initially invested in. And that did make me frustrated. But the very last scene almost made up for that entire 15 to 20 minutes. And I don't mean this in a mean way. I mean this in a very positive way. But it's because the journey was over. Everything was over. And again, I'm just left sitting there. I had an intimate over hour and a half with Jinsei. And while thinking about myself now, I'm thinking about it's fascinating. I'm thinking about my own life. I won't forget Jinsei anytime soon. And that is the best possible thing that a movie can do. So I will say it's a very difficult watch. There are bad things that happen in the last third, honestly. We'll say the last third is a bit off. No, it's actually very off. But it's still a really great film, and you should definitely watch Jinsei when it comes to theaters. But that's all from me. I hope that you take care. Bye.